So this is the story of when I double bucketed in a truck stop bathroom at 5 in the morning somewhere in the middle of Kansas. Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm telling a story that I've been meaning to tell since Thanksgiving. And if stories about diarrhea and throwing up and double bucketing make you uncomfortable, please don't watch this video. I'm about to expose myself hardcore. So basically, back in November when it was Thanksgiving, I took a road trip. And it was the worst mistake of my life. And I've made a lot of mistakes. That is up there. I live in Utah. I go to school in Utah. But my family, my mom and my dad and my little brother, who I love so much, they all are still in Arkansas. So the drive from Utah to Arkansas is like 19-ish hours. It's a pretty long drive. But last year, around Thanksgiving, I just was sad. I was going through hard school stuff, I was tired all the time, and I just missed my mom. You know, I just really missed my mom, and I missed my brother, and I missed my dad. So I got the idea to drive myself to Arkansas from Utah, 19 hours in the car by myself. That was a mistake. I used to go to BYU, I transferred, but BYU, one of the things that makes me so mad are the school schedule, because they like to have 4 semesters in a year. So for fall break, I'm pretty sure they gave us Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And that was it, not even a full week. Even though I only had 5 days, I just missed my mom. And I was born March 24th. I'm a full Aries girl. Like, I am an Aries. Normal people, they like think, plan, and then execute. Me, Aries, execute, deal with the consequences of not thinking or planning. So that's just what I did. You know, I didn't have money. I was going by myself. It's dangerous. I only had 5 days to go. And I actually have family in Utah that I could have spent Thanksgiving with. But I'm an Aries girl, so I decided to go. So basically, I was gonna vlog, like, my trip there. But the morning of, and even the decision following up to it, it didn't quite sit right with me. Like, there was something about it that, like, just didn't feel right. And so I was scared to vlog. Like, I was scared. I was scared of going, which I was like, why? It's just driving. Like, it's easy. But I was still nervous. So I didn't film anything, which I regret now. But I honestly, like, even like 3 hours into the trip, I was like, maybe I should turn around, because this doesn't feel right. And listen, I feel like we all have that sixth sense, but none of us want to listen to it, because I missed my mom. I just wanted to see her. I didn't want to listen to this weird intuition. I just wanted to go see my mom. I wish I had listened to it though, and you'll find out why. But basically, that's why I didn't film it, is because I almost turned around so many times, because something inside me said, this is a bad idea. So basically, I left Wednesday, probably around noon. I got to Denver around 8 o'clock. I got gas, kept going. I wanted to stop in Kansas City and sleep, but around 1 a.m. I hit West Kansas, and I was so tired. At that point, it wasn't safe for me to be on the road. Like, I would seriously hurt someone and myself. So even though I didn't get as far as I wanted to, I decided to stop and sleep. I brought lots of blankets because it was the end of November in Kansas. So it was freaking cold. But I brought lots of blankets, and here's the problem though. I found a Walmart so that I could sleep in the parking lot. That felt safest. So I brought lots of blankets. The problem was my body was nice and warm and I felt great, but I kept waking up in the middle of the night and I didn't like realize what it was in the moment. It wasn't until later, thinking back on it, my face was frozen. Like, I remember touching my face and it being like ice. It was so cold. So I'd pull the blanket over and I'd be fine. I'd fall right back asleep, and then I run out of oxygen. So I take the blanket off, and then I freeze. So I put the blanket on, and then I suffocate. So I take it off. Anyway, then I kept driving, and then I hit East Kansas. Everything was going good. Although I will say, first day of driving, easy. I got this. You just drive all day. Fun. It's fine. Second day of driving, I wanted to die. It is so terrible. Driving all day long for one day is doable. 2 days in a row, girl. Don't do it. Just don't. Don't do it. So I hit Eastern Kansas, and my tire pressure light in my car turned on. So what happened was, a couple months prior, that tire pressure light turned on, and I didn't know what it was, so I ignored it and hoped it would go away. So then, when I finally took care of the problem, instead of paying $10 for a patch, I had to pay $100 for a whole new tire. I didn't want to make that mistake again. So while I was in Kansas, it was like 3 p.m., and I was like, I have to get this fixed now. I popped my tire, I'm on the road, something happened. So the only place I'm comfortable going to, like, car-wise, is Walmart. So the nearest Walmart, because I was in the middle of nowhere, I was in Kansas, middle of nowhere, the nearest Walmart was 30 minutes away to the north. Here's the problem. Western Kansas, Bentonville, Arkansas. This is my destination. This is where I was. And I literally had to drive 30 minutes north to a Walmart. So that tacked on an hour onto my trip, and I was already tired, and it was the second day of driving, and I hated it. So I went to the tire shop, and the guy came up to my car, and he was like, just having a chill day, just a normal guy, and he was like, hey, how can I help you? And I was like, I've been on the road for 19 hours, I'm dying, please just help me. Like, I'm sure once he heard me talk, he was like, this girl is crazy. I was a little crazy in that moment. So he checked all my tires, and he was like, they're all the same pressure. Like, did you come from somewhere cold? And I was like, yeah, I slept in Kansas. It was really cold, like, Western Kansas. And he was like, girl, your tires are fine. It's just that they warmed up, and so the pressure changed, which triggered your light. And I was like, are you kidding me? I added an hour onto my trip for no reason. Like, he was like, you're fine. Your tires are fine. Like, there was no reason. Ugh, I was so mad at myself. At that point, I was so tired of driving. Then I drove away, parked in a Wendy's parking lot, called my boyfriend, cried, and then I hung up, and I called my brother, cried, and he was like, how far away are you? And I was like, 3 more hours, and he was like, you can do it, like, chill. And I was like, I'm tired. Anyway, kept driving, finally got home. I had spent a total of 30 hours in that car. So, I did film myself saying hello to my brother, and so here's that footage. Yo. I literally drove 12 hours, slept for 6, drove another 10 to Bentonville, Arkansas. I'm here at my house with my brother. I'm so happy. I miss you so much, Johnny. I miss you so much. And then he filmed me when I went inside and I saw my parents, and they had no idea I was coming. My brother knew I was coming because I wanted to make sure they weren't like going out of town or coming to Utah. Like, that would have sucked. So Sean knew I was coming, but my parents had no idea. So Sean filmed me saying hello to them and surprising them. My dad is in his underwear, so that's why I had to put a black square over him. He was in his underwear because he was expecting Sean, and then I walked in. Anyway, here's the footage of me surprising my parents. Okay, I've been in the car for like 30 hours, and I'm home. I can't believe I'm home. Is Mom in the bathroom?
I think so. I think they're both in there. Can I come in? Oh, okay. When will she be done? 30 seconds. Okay. Alright.
Hey guys.
What the heck?
Honestly, when I watch that footage, I like cry. So honestly, that moment did make it worth it. Honestly, as much as I joke about it being a mistake and stuff like that, I think that made it worth it. Well, I guess I could have just gotten a plane ticket there. Would have been a lot easier. Wait, I guess then I left Tuesday. And I got there Wednesday night because Thursday is Thanksgiving. That's what happened. Sorry I messed up. I left Tuesday, got there Wednesday. Thursday was Thanksgiving. We had our whole extended family there, which is another reason why I wanted to be there. All of my Arkansas family was there. Like 60 people, a full house. And it was super fun. I loved being with my family. I loved having Thanksgiving with them. It was just amazing. But then, that night, so we're just chilling, you know, having a good time. Everybody's gone at this point. We're just like watching a show or something. And my brother starts feeling really sick. And he goes and he throws up in the bathroom. And we're like, oh my gosh, Sean, what happened? Like, are you good? And he was like, no. And he was throwing up, having diarrhea. And I felt so bad for him. Like, I think I got him like a soda so that the bubbles would like calm his stomach or whatever. Didn't help. He still threw up. And I was like, oh, my poor little brother, I'm so sad. 3 hours later, I was in the same boat. I was throwing up, having diarrhea. I was up all night puking, feeling awful. So that was Thursday night. Friday, it just sucked that like I went home for Thanksgiving to spend time with my family and me and my brother are wiped out on the couch. Just standing and going to the bathroom just to puke or have diarrhea. It sucked. So, another mistake I made was thinking, well, not thinking. I didn't even consider the fact that, yeah, it might be sunny now, but it could snow later. So my dad was checking the weather, and that weekend, there was going to be a huge snowstorm across the United States. Meanwhile, I was throwing up and having diarrhea and couldn't stand. So me and my dad's original plan, he insisted on driving me back. So our original plan was to leave Saturday and get there Sunday. But I'm just chilling Friday afternoon, napping on the couch, and he wakes me up and he says, Carly, the snowstorm's coming tomorrow. We're leaving right now. I was like, are you kidding me? So, packed up my things, took a break to throw up, you know, it was fine. And my dad and I start the journey west, back to Utah. Which is why I should have just bought a plane ticket in the first place, because he had to drive me back and then buy a plane ticket to fly back. I should have just bought a plane ticket. It would have been the same amount of money. So I'm annoyed at myself for that. So it was all for nothing, I guess. But he started driving me back. It was the worst experience of my entire life. It was horrible because it had already started snowing. So we were driving west across Kansas going 45 miles an hour on the freeway. 45 miles an hour on the freeway. So not only am I throwing up and having diarrhea and I feel awful, but our trip is about to take twice as long because we can only go 40 to 45 miles per hour on the freeway because of the snow and the ice, and it was terrifying. And my dad had to stop every hour so that I could get up and throw up. So I'd go to sleep, and I'd get up and go throw up. He'd have to pull over and find a gas station, so then I'd go back to sleep, and then I'd wake up, and he'd pull over, and I'd throw up. And then it seemed like things were calming down. It was like 3 in the morning. We were driving slowly along, and I fell asleep. I thought it would all be good. At 5 a.m., I woke up, and I was like, Dad, pull over, please. You need to find somewhere. So he finds a truck stop. And all of this area, all of this, EXO, all of this area just felt horrible. It felt so horrible. So my dad finds a truck stop bathroom, and we stop. And I sit on the toilet, and I have the worst diarrhea, and then I feel it. And I'm like, oh no, my pants are down to my ankles. What do I do? And I was literally having diarrhea, and my only option, I looked around for a trash can. There was not a trash can in this stall. My pants were down to my ankles. My only option was to just lean over and throw up on the floor while I had diarrhea. Just thinking about it now makes me cringe because I feel bad, but like I also feel bad for myself because of how sick I was. I couldn't stand. I was throwing up. Oh, it's the worst. So this is the story of when I double bucketed in a truck stop bathroom at 5 in the morning somewhere in the middle of Kansas. And it was terrible. So my dad is back in the car. I like walk up to him and I'm like, Dad, I just double bucketed in the bathroom. And he was like, you okay? And I was like, no. So we kept driving. We found a gas station and he bought me some Pepto-Bismol. That didn't help. It was bad enough that nothing would have helped. I just had to get it out. So we keep driving. You know, we stop every couple hours so I can throw up and have diarrhea, and it's basically the worst experience in the entire world. My dad, okay, I grew up taking road trips. We used to live in Nebraska, and we had family in Utah and Arkansas. So I grew up taking road trips every summer to Utah and to Arkansas. And my dad told me after this experience, he said that the experience driving me to Utah that night was his worst road trip experience in his life. This man is 48 years old. And that was the worst experience of his life. Dad, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So, driving through Colorado is also the worst because it was snowing there as well, and it's higher traffic, and there's mountains, and I was still having diarrhea. So we had to navigate through ice and drivers and mountains and bathrooms, and it was the worst. It was the worst. It was absolutely the worst. I kept offering, I was like, Dad, let me drive, but he only trusts himself to drive in these situations. He's very, let me handle it, you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't trust me to drive, and he was like, just let me do it. So we finally get back to Utah. We probably got to my apartment around 5, and he got to my sister's apartment around 8. He slept from like 8 p.m. to like 4 a.m., and then my sister drove him to the airport, and he flew home. My dad is a saint. He literally drove me through the night on Friday, through the day on Saturday, and then had a flight Sunday morning and went immediately back to Arkansas. And then went to work on Monday. Dad, I'm sorry. You are a saint. But I find out later that the sickness that I got and my brother got, like 13 people who came to our house got that sickness. And like my boyfriend kept joking like, geez, what did your mom feed them? But it's like, if it had been a food item, then everybody who ate that food item would have gotten sick. And pretty much everybody ate everything that was there. And like, even my cousins who have a gluten intolerance and brought their own food, they got sick. So it was clearly a virus. It wasn't something in the food. And it was the worst experience of my entire life. Girl, you know you've hit rock bottom when you double bucket in a truck stop bathroom in the middle of Kansas. It was the worst. That was my experience of my worst road trip ever. If you're ever thinking about taking a road trip and you just get a bad feeling about it, trust that bad feeling. You know, we all have that instinct inside us. Trust that. Okay, honey, trust that. Just take a plane to wherever you're going. I did love surprising my family. I loved seeing my mom and my brother and all my family and my extended family and my dad and eating Thanksgiving food and having a good time. But the 30 hours leading up to it were terrible. The 12 hours were fun, and then the last 30 hours were terrible. So, was it worth it? I should have just taken a plane. Anyway, I'm sorry this story time was disgusting. I am a disgusting person, and I am unashamed of my bowel movements. I have IBS. But thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more disgusting story times, I have more. I will tell you all the poop stories. But go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and like this video. Leave me a comment. Tell me your worst road trip experience. And then we can just share together in the awful road trip experiences. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.